What's up, guys? Welcome back to the UFC arena. We're here to talk about UFC Fight Night, Mackhachev versus Moises. It was a good card, a lot of finishes, a lot of good fights, and we're here to talk about some of the standouts. So we'll start with the main event. Islam Mackhachev looked very good in this fight. Man, his grappling is really next level. He was dominating Moises in the grappling, and he was dominating Moises in the striking as well. Looking at this fight, I got a new appreciation for Islam's ability to not get hit. Like, he was very defensively responsible. Of course, Thiago Moises is not the best striker in the world, but even with that being said, he was finding it very hard to lay his hands on Islam. Islam was staying very defensively responsible, and his boxing was looking good as well. He's definitely progressing on his feet, and he wanted to strike more. He was winning the striking exchanges, but his coaches and Khabib and they was like, listen, big man, you are dominating him on the ground. Take the path of least resistance, take him down, finish the fight. So kind of reluctantly, Islam decided that, he'd go with a more grappling heavy approach. And that was really good advice by his corners, because even though he was doing well on the feet, you never know what could happen. So grappling was definitely the safer part. Islam was basically able to do whatever he wanted on the ground. Thiago Moises is a very good grappler, and he had nothing on the ground for Mackhachev. Mackhachev took him down at will, kept him down. Thiago Moises had some good moments. He tried a few submissions, but at the end of the day, Islam never looked like he was in any real danger. He was in control from start to finish, and he was able to lock up the finish in round 4. It was a clean, impressive victory. Well, on to the next. Come on, let's get Islam a higher ranked opponent now. I heard that Dana said Beneil Dariush is the fight to make, and I like that fight. That's a good fight. Beneil is currently ranked at number 3, but honestly, anybody ahead of Islam, I would like to see that fight happen. Next up in the co-main event, we had the return of Miesha Cupcake Tate after about 4 years off from the sport, taking on Reneau, who was retiring. And it was a good performance by Miesha Tate. This is a good tune-up fight, and pretty much that's exactly what it was, and that's how it should be. After taking so much time off, it's good that they didn't just throw her in with Amanda Nunes right away or somebody more dangerous, So this was a good fight for Miesha Tate to get her feet back, to get the feeling back. And I'm interested to see where she goes from here. I wasn't overly impressed by her. It was good that she was able to become the first woman to finish Marion Reneau, so that's something she could definitely be proud of. And Miesha Tate just seems different, her vibe is different. I'm happy that she's in a good place in her life now. She has children and she's highly motivated, and she seems happy, so that's good. She said that she's coming back for that belt. And that's where we had to stop right there. I'm sorry, there is no way that Miesha Tate is beating Amanda Nunes. Amanda Nunes has gotten even better from the last time they fought, and I don't think that Miesha Tate has gotten dramatically better, and she has to get dramatically better if she wants to have any chance of beating Amanda Nunes. So that's a no. She could be a gatekeeper, I think, but not champion unless Nunes decides to retire. Next up, we had one of the best performances of the night, Mateusz Gamrot versus Jeremy Stephens. That fight was quick like that. Gamrot was able to take down Jeremy Stephens very quickly. Stephens tried to reverse the position with a Kimura and then ended up getting caught in a Kimura himself. Gamrot is very powerful. He's definitely someone to keep your eye on. He's 19-1. That's an excellent record, and he's finally here. He's calling out the top 15, and he seems like he's ready to take on the world. He kind of reminds me of guys like Yuri Prohaska and Israel Adesanya, in that I felt like those guys, they took their time before coming to the UFC, and they only entered the UFC when they felt like they were ready for the top level right away. And that's kind of the impression I get from Gamrot. Jeremy Stephens, he's getting up there in age, but I don't take away much from this fight for Jeremy Stephens. He's back up to lightweight, and he just needs to try again. Let's see what happens. Maybe give him a striker, and we could have a better idea of where he is at in his career. Next up, we had Rodolfo Viera versus Dustin Stoltzfus. This was a good fight from Rodolfo. He fought intelligently, and he pretty much did what he had to do. He looked good on the feet. He did not gas himself out like he did in his last fight, and you could see once the fight got to the ground, his grappling was next level. He actually took the guys back on the feet first, and that squeeze, once it got in, that was the end. That was the end for sure. one thing about Rodolfo, he does look very nervous and very uneasy. He looks almost as if he's having an anxiety attack every time he goes back to his corner. Even after the fight, he looked like, oh my god, I can't believe I survived. Oh, I'm just so happy I made it out alive. That's just the impression and the vibe I get from him. I'm not sure what he's so nervous or worked up about. And with that kind of mindset, I wonder how successful you can really be in this sport. But he's definitely had some great performances so far in the UFC. And hopefully, he learned from that loss in his last fight. And he's going forward. Next, we'll talk about the main card opener. Gabriel Benitez versus Billy Quarantillo. This fight was surprising to me. I thought going into this that Benitez was going to win, that he was going to blast Quarantillo with leg kicks and that his striking would just be too much. But boy, was I wrong. Quarantillo came out with a crazy pace. He landed some really good strikes on the feet and he dropped Benitez, which was surprising to me. And I think that it was surprising to Benitez as well. I don't think that they anticipated that he would be getting outstriked by Quarantillo, but Quarantillo came with a point to prove and he was relentless. He almost threw it away in that third round when Benitez was able to drop him, but Benitez was so tired at that point that he could not finish. Quarantillo was able to shake it off and come back to win the fight. He stopped him in the third round and that was a very exciting fight. One other person that I just want to talk about quickly from the prelims is Amanda Lemos. Ooh, that girl was impressive and she is a problem in this division. She was impressive her last time out too, and she was impressive this time. Her striking was sharp and she just blasts Montserrat Ruiz from the start of the fight. The fight did not go very long. You can say that it was a questionable stoppage because Ruiz bounced right back up and she was ready, but I do understand why the referee stopped it because of how she fell and the follow-up shot that Lemos landed. And this is another fighter managed by Waleed, so we know he had to cut his promo. I swear Waleed is like Paul Heyman just for MMA. This guy he's always adding on things to what the fighter's actually saying, but I guess it works. Now I'm looking forward to seeing Amanda fight in some top flight competition, and the strawweight division was already stacked and she's just another very interesting and powerful addition to this division. Anyway guys, that's the end of this video. If you enjoyed my content, please remember to like, please remember to subscribe. We're on the road to 300 subscribers, so please help your boy out. Leave a comment down below, let me know what you thought, and I'll see you all in the next one.